We welcome you to Flyers Postgame Live, presented by Cure Auto Insurance. Along with Al Morgani and Scott Hartnell, I'm Michael Barkamp. 5-1 Flyers go down to the Dallas Stars. And you know you got a good team going when your second line scores 4 of your 5 goals. And also, I'm not, excuses or not, I don't care. I think we call it like we see it. You're playing the second half of a back-to-back on the road, Hartsey. That's tough to do.
Well, if that's the Dallas Stars second line, it's going to be a first line on a lot of teams, and they take all 3 of those guys. Rupe Hintz, Jason Robertson, Tyler Seguin. Heck of a players these guys are, and they showed why they're the Dallas Stars, the elite of the Western Conference, the elite of the NHL for that matter. And they played a great game. Flyers, kind of stuck in the mud that first period, kind of got things going there in the second period, Al. But when you're down a few goals, it's tough to catch up to them.
Yeah, I thought their goalie, Vladar kept them in that first period. What you needed was when you've got Zegras, Michkov, Tippett the way he played the previous game, Konechny, you needed a spark. And it never seemed to come, partly because Dallas just had the possession time to keep going. So it was a tough loss against a good team, and it's like they stepped up in class too. It's not St. Louis, it's not Calgary. This is you want a measuring stick. That's a pretty good measuring stick.
Same time, there's a little theme here going back to the beginning of last season. The Flyers are now 1-12-2 in the second game of road back-to-backs. I don't know what that says about this team currently, but they are toward the bottom of the barrel in the NHL in that stat.
Yeah, I didn't mind playing the back-to-backs, especially the second half, because you really had nothing to lose, right? I felt like my legs were a little bit better. Even though the travel, you get in late, whatever, you just go out there and play. You don't really try and think too much about the systems or whatever. You just got to work your tail off, get a bang, get a body, all that kind of stuff to get into the game. And that first period for the Flyers, there was no hitting, no shots, things like that. And you're down 1-0 after the first because of Vladar. It could have been 14-0 after that first one.
This isn't a league you can really look at back-to-backs and say, well, you got to win them or you've got to compete in them. And look, even if it wasn't a back-to-back, Dallas, it's a tough ask if you had 4 days off to beat that team like that. But you are going to have to get better in that. And that comes down to goaltending, too. And that's why I was surprised, because Vladar really did give him that chance to win. That's what you asked for in a game like this, coming off a game the previous night.
Here is the GMC performance play of the game. It's not just one. There's 3 of them. It's Jason Robertson. He gets 7, 8, 9er for Dallas tonight. 1-0 right here. And beautiful play. Yeah,
you can tell the speed right there. Coming at a 4-on-2 on 2 defensemen there for the Flyers, and just going right through the middle of the ice there. Sagan misses the play. They're a little bit lucky for them, but Robertson's there to put that one home.
Yeah, they got caught trying to be a little too aggressive in that, and then come in and score. I mean, he's starting to feel it. You can tell when those goal scorers start to feel it. Here's just take that shot. Now that's one that you could argue. You know what? Maybe that's the one you goaltender can have.
And this is another good shot too. Couturier gets the stick knocked out of his hand. Why is this guy so open? I know it's a penalty kill, but he's not going to miss that shot when he's probably could have had a cup of tea there before he shot that one.
Yeah, if you're Couturier, you go back and try to get your stick, or you fill the void.
I think you have to, right? Even if you don't have a stick, the puck's going to get to him anyway. You're standing there, you can't grab him. Yeah. It's going to be a penalty. He's going to shoot him anyway.
I think you're thinking when you see the broken stick, and when you're going to go to the bench or whatever, or take it from a defenseman, take one. The stick's there. I think you go get it.
Hartsey said he liked the second game of a back-to-back because they had nothing to lose. Did the Flyers? Did you think they looked gassed tonight, especially from the middle of the second on?
It's hard to say, because when they haven't played for a while, their first periods have been, wake me up type of stuff. Yeah, so I wouldn't use that in that first period there. I think it's the combination of the talent level of Dallas and the fact that, then you can look at the back-to-back maybe a little bit, but they had spurts there in that third period.
In the third period, that's a little bit too little, too late, right? You need a spark in that first period. Especially one of maybe the fourth line guys, a Hathaway, to go in and mix it up, get a big hit, and that gets your bench going. That gets the juice, because the fans aren't going to provide that juice for the players. They got to provide it themselves. So they just missed something in the first half of that game.
All right, how about the fatigue factor? Sean Couturier asked about that post-game in Dallas.
Game in 4 nights, a little bit of dead legs maybe in the first period for you guys.
Well, I think it's been kind of a common theme here lately. Our starts haven't been good. It just makes it harder on us to climb back in every game. There's no quit, but like you said, third game in 4 nights just makes it tougher on us to get back in it.
It seemed like you guys picked it up a little bit in the second period. What was maybe the difference for you?
Yeah, I think we just forechecked better. Created some turnovers, and then we make two mistakes there. They get 2 goals, and it just makes it tough on us. But just tough night. We'll forget about it and move on.
A goalie like Ottinger, how important is it to take his eyes away? Hopefully we got to a little bit of that maybe as the game went on. Not a ton, but.
Yeah, a little bit. But I think first and foremost, we just need to win more battles and be first on pucks. They won the majority of the battles, I would say, the 50-50s, and we didn't, so it just made it that much harder.
Here's our Toyota electrifying moment. Flyers had not been shut out this season, and they still haven't been, thanks to Christian Dvorak. Gets the Flyers' lone goal of the night. But Alzi and Hartsey, it looked like it might go that way of the goose egg, but he gets it halfway through the third. Yeah,
it's always nice ruining a guy's shutout, right? A Saturday night in Dallas. They're feeling pretty good about themselves. The Flyers had a lot of pressure the last 10 minutes of the hockey game, but nice to get Dvorak to get that one. He's on a little bit of a heater.
Yeah, he is. He's been a pretty important piece of what's gone on here. We saw the previous game in the overtime taking the draw, and ruin the shutout, whatever you can get, whatever momentum a little bit to just go into the next game. I've seen teams after get blown out in 2 periods, like just go win that third period.
Yeah.
And that's the attitude you have to have.
How much different do you think this outcome is, if at all, if the Flyers had the 2 days rest that the Stars had going into this game?
I think it's important, right? You get there, you can get set up in the city, especially when you're in your home beds for them, right? They're eating home cooking, all that kind of stuff, and they definitely had jump right from the get-go, and you can blame it on it, but it does have a factor, that's for sure.
Yeah, the way Dallas plays, it's hard for me. I mean, for a lot of teams, they got to have a week off, and they play against Dallas, and they can have a tough time. And the goaltender, when he's playing well, he's just tough to beat.
Here's a team that looked like it was going to go to the Stanley Cup final in the Dallas Stars. Didn't do it. Coach got whacked, and now they're at it once again. You think they get over the hump this year?
It's tricky. You got the Colorado Avalanche. The Edmonton Oilers been there 2 years in a row, who beat the Stars last 2 years to get into the finals. So it's a hard, good Western Conference teams.
Winnipeg, it's such a difficult task right there. And as Dallas, as good as they're playing, Colorado's ripping it up. So it's going to be tough for them. But I don't think this coach will be fired if they don't win the Stanley Cup this year.
Let's hear from winger Noah Cates on tonight's game.
Cates, it's been a pretty spread out schedule. You guys haven't played a lot of games like this. Are there things out of this you can take away and kind of get you guys ready for the grind that's coming down the road here?
Yeah, we haven't had too many back-to-backs, but it's kind of a different game. You got to be smart. You got to be disciplined. You can't really get stretched out or go for the home run too much. You got to be smart and just kind of put shifts over. Keep rolling. Get the momentum. Get playing in their zone, and then stuff comes. So I think there's too many one and dones, and not sustaining momentum, different things like that. So we just got to learn on the back-to-backs, and got a little break here. But when the grind starts, I think that's when you stay in it. You just keep rolling, playing your game. So we got to be good after this break, and it's a huge stretch for us.
Do you feel like maybe you guys could have won maybe a few more of the 50-50 battles, particularly early in the game?
Yeah, definitely. Early on, we're, kind of not supporting each other, and, that kind of goes into, the 50-50 battles. If you have close support, it makes it a little bit easier. You're talking to your teammates, so we're just kind of leaving guys on islands and, not supporting, especially early in games. It seems like the past, 2, 3, 4 games, our starts have been a little off, so just got to be consistent, play a full 60, support, and, be disciplined, be detailed for the whole game.
How difficult is it with a team like that seems to smother a little bit, especially in the defensive zone?
Yeah, they kind of swarm, have a couple guys on you. You just got to move pucks quick. Like I said, support, trust if you're rimming it out, someone's there. And, I think we can take a lot of things from them. They had such good, whether it was rims or little dinks to each other, they knew the support was there. And that's why they're a top team in the league. They're tough to play against. And, they're just predictable, honestly. They know where their guys are at, and they trust it.
You're 18 games through the season now. How would you assess things?
I really like, this team and, a lot of comebacks, but resilient efforts, different things like that. We got to put a full 60. I think we can take on a lot of teams if we do a full 60. Support each other. We got such good depth, and we just play hard for each other. So I think if we play below the dots on most teams, I like our chances. So we've had great goaltending as well. So our D zone's been good, our PK's been good, power plays, everything's been rock solid. It's just playing hard for each other and playing a full 60 and staying committed to that. And I like our chances against anyone in this league when we do it.
Game, and it's the first Jason Robertson goal. Dallas up 1-0 in the second period, and the rush is on.
Yeah, speed kills there, right there. Two guys coming in, kind of alienate Sealer in front of the net and backhand goal.
Yeah, and you see the Flyers trying to track back. They've been trying to push offensively, caught down the other end, come up, and as you mentioned, they're trying to get back, but speed kill just slide right through, knock it past the goaltender. Good effort, but
right here, 24, Sealer.
Yeah,
Thought
Sealer,
he might have had it.
He's probably thinking it's off the pads, right? A shot off the goal.
Yeah, tough play for him. You can't point fingers, but getting caught, three guys caught, you can probably point one finger at one of the guys that maybe jumped the gun there.
Yeah, was there anything else that told you that this team is a step above most of the others in the NHL than that rush? The power and the speed, as you said.
Speed, power. They got the goaltending. They got some heck of a defenseman on that club. So they got the whole package over there.
Yeah, I think when Kate said predictable, I think what he meant was they do consistently. That's what they're going to do.
All right, let's hear from Travis Sanheim right now. We go to the Flyers dressing room.
It's spots like this in the schedule every now and then. You haven't had many of this year. What can you take away from this game for the grinds that are coming? Because there's several more of these down the road that I know you guys are going to have to deal with.
Yeah. Obviously, starts again. Need to get off the better starts, but I thought the second period we controlled most of the play, and so there's some positives that you can take out of that, playing a good team. And obviously they capitalize on their chances and some of our mistakes that we need to clean up. So, obviously tough back-to-back, and learn from it and try and grow as a team.
I saw you and Rick talking in the third period a little bit. Is this like a game where there's teachable moments and things you can really take from that, aside from just like the grind of it all, but just like take from like specific things?
Yeah, I think just playing that good of a team, I think there's the skill that they play with and knowing how to defend it and limit their chances, and so just having that dialogue with him and understanding ways to prevent it, and we were going over the penalty kill goal and how that developed, and obviously hate giving that one up.
As the game went along, you guys maybe simplified things a little bit, maybe just rimming it out. There wasn't a clean breakout or something. It looked like, particularly as the second period went along, you got to your game a little bit more, but obviously the deficit only.
Yeah. You never know. You capitalize on a couple chances in the second when we were kind of controlling the play. It might be a different story. And like I said, they capitalize on our mistakes and opportunistic, and they got a ton of skill on that team, so you can't give them the looks that we're giving them.
You're 18 games now through the season. Just how would you assess things thus far?
Yeah, I think obviously you got to be, there's a lot of positives to take away from it. We're still learning as a group and trying to grow as a team and get better. And I like the attitude of our team and where it's headed.
And Vladar, number 80, made some beautiful saves tonight against an oncoming Dallas team. It was beautiful. And Alphonse, 23 saves doesn't really tell a story when you're in it and up against it all night.
No, 29 saves would have been better.
29 would have been.
That was, I think the best part of his game was early. Dallas just was running over the Flyers, all kinds of zone time, and he really did keep them in that first period. If they get any sort of offense, it's a whole different situation.
You know what I love about him, actually, Al, is that it ends up 5-1, right? The power play goal, guy wide open, Sagan scores late. He's not looking at his defenseman at the bench, the bad change that led to Sagan's goal. He's honest about himself. I got to maybe save that one. You know what I mean? He's not pointing fingers. He's not one guy to to say, you guys got to play better. You know, he goes about his business every day, comes into play, and gives his best. So that's what I love about him. I think his teammates like that about him as well, and that's what why they play so hard.
You're saying there are some goalies that aren't like that?
Oh,
Why don't you wait? Let's go ahead. First one is
he was on the telecast tonight, folks. I'm just
he's
kidding.
just kidding.
I'm just kidding.
As far as you know.
No, but there's goalies that like they give her one of these, when they're screened by their own guy, and
well, he got very
the
angry,
look of disgust, that kind of stuff, and those looks from a goalie when you're trying your best, you're trying to block the shot. There's good players on the other team making those plays, and you get that look, you're like, dude, you can't say that to me right now,
right.
All that kind of stuff. So that those looks kind of break up a team a little bit, and I don't see that from Dan.
So translate what you think he did on the play where Coots lost his stick and Robertson scored. I believe it was his hat trick goal, and he was ticked.
Well,
was that because of him, or was he upset that the stick went awry, or what do you think it was?
I'm sure he's wondering why he was left wide open. And he'll look at the film, like where he was positionally. He was deep in the net. Lots of net to shoot at when the goaltender's playing deep, no matter how big he is, right? And it wasn't the what are you doing, what's going on. It was like, all right. Yeah, I'll be back. I'll make that next save.
Even through a mask, you can tell when there's a stare down. You can always see what's going on.
That stuff is not good for a hockey team, and he doesn't do that stuff from what I've seen anyway.
Yeah. Speaking of stare downs, there's a guy coming up now does it pretty good if he wants to. I'm not saying he does. That would be the head coach of the team. Here's Rick Tocchet on tonight's loss.
It's going to be a tall lift just because of where it fell on the schedule. What do you take out of this one? And now you've got 3 days of practice before you get going again, kind of a second chapter, if you will, in this season.
Yeah, just the first period's just backing in. I know this is a good hockey team. We just backed in too much. And, then we decided to, the second period, other than unfortunate couple of things, we actually played a good second. But it's too late. You're chasing the game. Too many guys are backing in to start the game, and I got to try to figure out why.
That second period, you're cooking along, then you hit a TV timeout. They come out and they score. It seems like a recurring theme with the whole league. What's the challenges there to keep that momentum going through those breaks?
Well, just play for each other. Guys. You might have a tired group out there, and a guy has a puck at their blue. It's got to go in deep. There's plays to be made under pressure. You don't have the puck. The second it happened, but the first we didn't. So, it's one of those things that we're going to work at it, and we got 4 days off to work on this stuff.
Kate said that it was like they were swarming a little bit in the offensive zone. Do you think they were purposely trying to maybe break the box and one and how hard is it to defend a team like that just has so many feet moving?
You talking about us defensively?
Yeah.
No, just stand around, containment. It's got nothing to do with system. It's 1-on-1. It's 2-on-2. Win your battle. It's got no system stuff there.
I saw you talking with Nick Seeler and Travis Sanheim separately on the bench in the third period. Still a lot of teachable moments in this kind of game. Just on the PK and just talking about build your game. It's just, I know sometimes things are horrible out there, and you just got to stick with your game. And I talked to even I'm glad Devo's line, they stuck with it and they scored a goal. So that's a positive.
Coots was talking about that you guys maybe didn't win enough 50-50 battles, particularly early on. Yeah. Obviously, those little kind of things add up as the game. Yeah. I feel like you got your game maybe a little. You were talking about the second period.
Yeah. So we're just starting too late. To defend well, you have to anticipate. You got to get inside on somebody, and you got to get you got to be willing to get in there. And for some reason, the start of the period, in the start of the game, we're not in that situation. So we got to figure ways to do it. We got some practice time here, and we're going to have to really work on some 2-on-2 and 3-3 battles. I think that's going to be the majority of the 4 days. Okay, thanks.
Oh my goodness. Play your game, says Toc, and win your battle, which was a struggle to do tonight against the Dallas Stars.